Hi, I'm Paige Miller, and I'd like to welcome you to Frame and Fiber, which is my picture framing shop in Point Pleasant, New Jersey. So I am a custom picture framer, and this video is going to give you a look at how the design process happens, the interaction between myself and a customer, and how we go about picking out the different components of a picture framing packet. So in this video, my friend Denise, excuse me, is my customer, and she and I, you will notice, we are not in the same location. She is coming from her home, or she's in her home in New York, and I'm here in New Jersey, and we are using a platform called Zoom, and it is a teleconferencing platform, and it helps my customers who are not local to me to be able to be with me in real time, looking at their piece of art, or in this case a letter, and being able to see my framing wall. Like behind me, you'll see that I have my picture frames, and so I'm able to really give them a personal one-on-one, a bit of time, kind of like if they really just walked into my frame shop and stood at my counter with me. So I hope you find this interesting. I hope it might make picture framing something that you think about. Maybe you will have some questions after you watch it, so please feel free to contact me. Down below is my contact information, so if you have questions about picture framing, if you live in an area where there are several picture frame shops and you need help picking out a place to go, I would be more than happy to help you find a reputable picture framer, someone who you can trust. Or if you'd like to send me, find out how to send your piece to me to frame for you, we can also talk about that. So contact me if you have any questions. All right, so let's get into the video.
Hey everybody, thanks for joining me today. I would like to introduce you to my friend Denise. So welcome, my friend. Thank you for doing this.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to do this with you. I'm so excited to see the process with this letter too.
Yay! Okay, so speaking of the letter,
yes,
would you mind letting everyone at home know a little bit about yourself, but also about what we'll be framing today?
Yes, absolutely. So as Paige said, my name is Denise, and I do host a podcast here on YouTube, and it is the Earthstones Girl podcast. And it is fiber related, mainly knitting, kind of me rattling on about this and that sometimes. You see my kids, you see background, all of that good stuff. And this letter, when Paige approached me to do this with her, I didn't have anything in mind yet. And my mom, and then I said, wait a second, let me see if my mom has any old recipes or something from my grandmother who passed away, oh my gosh, almost 20, 30 years ago. And as my mom is looking through various old letters and things that she had, she came across this letter. And we didn't know it existed. It was one of these things that she had for so many years, and she just tucked it away and, you know, moved recently, but didn't know it was there. And the letter is from my grandmother, my mother's mother, to me. That was in an old birthday card. I think the date on the letter, I think, is
November 12th, 1978.
November 12th. Okay, so 1978. And I had just turned 8 years old. My birthday was September 18th. And my grandmother, sorry, this is very sentimental for me, so I'm going to try to
No, this is lovely. I love
keep my cool and not cry.
Here,
not get
I'm going to grab the tissues.
No, you know, and I don't have any near me, but it's okay. And my grandmother actually passed away a month after this letter was written.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So, yeah, so it was so when my mom found the letter, she called me one evening. It was right around bedtime, putting the kids to bed. I'm like, why is she calling right now? And she says, you're not gonna believe what I found. She starts to read it to me, and the two of us are sobbing.
Oh.
Sobbing on the phone. I'm trying to listen to her. I can barely hear what she's saying because I'm crying. My husband even came around the corner because he thought, what's going on? Like, why are you sobbing? What's happening? Who just passed away? Who's in the hospital? I said, no, it's fine. It's fine. Just give me a minute. And I'm sobbing. And she read the letter to me, and it's just a simple, sweet letter from a grandmother to the granddaughter, just happy birthday, and I love you, and here's a little bit of money for you. I think there might have been $5 or $10 in the envelope, which was mega bucks back in the day.
That is mega bucks back.
It was mega bucks in the day. And then my sister's birthday is in June. So not to let my sister feel left out, she said, and please give Julie a hug for me and tell her I love her too. And, kiss mommy and daddy. And it's,
yeah. Yeah.
Fanning. So now my mom is crying because when my grandmother passed away, there were a lot of grandchildren that hadn't even arrived yet in the family. My sister's at the cutoff point. There's a big age gap. So to have something like this in her handwriting and in the old fashioned airmail envelopes,
yes.
With the red, white, and blue around the edges. I mean, it's a treasure.
Yeah.
And it's not something we would love to circulate it among the family. But again, handling something this old is, I was even afraid to handle it myself,
right.
To bring it to you. So it has so much sentimental value for us. My mom is one of 10 children.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. We're a really huge family. And everyone with the exception of one has 2 children. And then all of those children, many of us now have children of our own. So when we get together, it's huge.
Wow, that's incredible. It's
really incredible. So to have this framed and up on the wall for people to see it's going to be all the feels. All the feels are going to come out with this.
It'll be, and putting it in a picture frame is going to preserve it. So you don't have to worry about, is it going to be handled too much? Is it going to be shoved in the corner and crumpled? Like, it'll be safe. So
right. Water damage, anything. You never know what can happen.
Definitely. You never know. So we'll do our due diligence to keep it as safe as possible.
Yes. And I'm so grateful. I couldn't imagine putting this in anyone else's hands but yours, because it's an item that is so cherished that you want recommendations. Who do you go to? Who do you give it to frame?
Right.
So I left it with Paige more than a month ago. So I haven't even thought about it in terms of its safety, because I know it's in the best possible hands. So thank you for doing this for me, for our family. Thank you.
I'm honored to frame this for you. And you do want me to have it copied so that you can have one for your mom and your sister as well. So I will do that before it's framed.
Yes.
So let's talk about the framing and what, if any, if you had any ideas in mind as far as, a concept of what it would look like or where you want to keep it, if that's going to have any influence on what we pick out. And let's start from there. And if you're not sure of what you do want, most people aren't sure of what they want, but they definitely know what they don't want.
What they don't want, right?
Yeah. So
that makes perfect sense.
Yeah. So even if you're not sure, but you can at least give me some pointers on where you don't want to go.
Well, it's funny. I do remember there being like an old chaise lounge. Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
That used to be in the house where my grandparents lived, and we lived there for a number of years when we moved to Barbados for a while, and it was a very dark wood. Sort of I'm not good with wood colors, but behind you, Paige, over your left shoulder, just above that, it almost looks cherryish. Okay, yes.
Okay, so in this color.
That kind of color range, I'm thinking.
I'm so excited because I picked out a few things before I talked with you.
Are we on the same page?
One of them was similar to that color. So.
Oh, great.
You see it?
I do. That's awesome. That's so great.
All right. So I have a couple in that family range to show you. Oh, that's nice. I love that you're thinking of not just your home, but where your grandma was.
Right. And the furniture, she had the bed that she slept in. The frame of the bed was that color as well.
Okay.
So I'm trying to, I want to incorporate a little bit, and I don't know if we mentioned, but my family's from Barbados, and
not mention that.
Yeah, our family's from Barbados. That's where my grandmother lived. My mom was there until she married at 26. So that a lot of the furniture and things in the home were that dark wood. That was considered more aesthetically pleasing. I mean, as opposed to a lighter wood.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I remember the handrail. We had a really big sort of china hutch in the house that was that color as well.
Nice.
Even a clock. So it's perfect. It's so perfect.
Okay, so I do think that the letter should be matted.
Okay.
That will keep the letter from being against the glass. We don't want the glass touching it.
Okay.
And I also think doing a double matte is going to just space it nicely, separate it from the frame, so it gives it some visual space for your eye to adjust between the frame and the letter. So I have a few mattes that I picked out, again, prior to meeting with you, just so I could get a sense of what works best with the letter.
Okay.
So I'm going to show you a couple different options before we actually put the frame down.
Okay. This
So
is so exciting.
All right, so first, let's see, what's
Okay.
doing this on? Okay, so I want to show you top mats.
Okay.
And picking out a top mat, actually, that looks really good.
It does.
This, and then here's the other one that I picked out. Very similar in color. You can see a little bit different. The top one is brighter. When it comes to the top mat, I have a few rules that I like to follow. We can tweak them, but I don't like to break them.
Okay.
I like the matting to allow the artwork or the letter, in this case being framed, to be the thing that your eye is drawn to. And usually our eyes are drawn to the brightest thing. Remember when you and I were talking about, hey, can you see everything? And you said, oh, the letter's not as bright as you.
Right.
When you look at the screen, you see me a whole, like your eye goes to me before the letter because I'm that much brighter.
You're brighter.
So
gotcha.
I prefer to use, like, this right here to me is a great color because it doesn't, it's either the same as the letter, and when I say the letter, I mean the paper.
The paper.
Yeah. And a little bit darker. But the reason why I chose both is if you think it's too dark and you really do want to go lighter, we can tweak it and go a shade lighter.
No, you know what? Because I've never done this before, I will defer to your knowledge and expertise.
Okay.
Yeah, I totally defer to you. It's more not concern, but the thing I would have the more input about would be the actual frame. The color of the frame, but the matting and everything, aesthetically, whatever you think is best.
Okay, so I want to look at a double matte, which means the inner lining, the quarter inch that will separate the top matte from the letter.
Got it.
I picked out, just to show, a black, a gray, and then a really dark blue. And the reason why I picked out the dark blue is because the ink is dark blue.
I was going to say the ink because of the ink. Okay.
Yes. But you may not like it. It might be like, whoa, that's too blue. So I'm going to show you the blue first. I didn't look at any of this before, so I might say.
No, let's do it together. Let's see. Ooh.
So on the screen, to me on the screen, it looks black.
It does look black on the screen.
It's the deepest navy that I have. So, I mean, I could do bluer. Let me just blue.
That looks great.
It does, doesn't it?
That looks really great.
Let me grab this one just so you can see. I still think, yeah, it's still the right blue. Okay.
Now that's the lighter blue?
Yeah, so it's really hard for you to see on the camera here. Obviously, I am not a videographer, so I'm a picture.
Right? No, I totally understand.
But so
you know what?
What I will do is, I think it's going to be hard to compare the black as well. So what I'm going to do once we're done filming is I will send you a very crisp, clear photograph. So you can compare the two colors, just so you can understand and really see what I'm seeing. The difference between the two blues from where I'm standing, this is just a lot bluer.
Well, does it, again, just because I'm limited with what I can see, does that lighter blue or the bluer blue, does that match more with the ink in the letter?
So I think it does match more with the ink, but it's blue, whereas the darker one is, oh, you can kind of see the difference.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know what? I know there's something in video with white balance and all of that. So like maybe that's the blue that's underneath. And then when I cover it, see how dark it looks?
It does look dark, yes.
So let me compare the two blues this way for you.
Oh.
That's the two different blues. So they both pick up the ink very well, which you might think to yourself, well, how is that possible? Like one's
no, it makes perfect sense. No, it does make perfect sense. Just looking at it here, I'm covering the darker blue for a second. And now I'm covering the top blue for a second.
I love it. I love it.
I kind of like the bluer blue.
All right. And
yeah,
you know, you're not seeing all of that blue, so it's not
right. Of course not. Yeah. Right. You're getting about maybe a quarter of an inch or so, or a half an inch.
Tiny, even a smidge left.
Okay.
You know, not to get all corny and technical on you, but it'll be like 3/16.
Very specific. Very, very specific.
Very specific.
But you know what? You know why I think I like, I know why I like the bluer blue, because here, I'm going to get emotional again. Thinking of this in a bigger picture, my grandmother's father was a sailor.
Oh!
So he was a merchant marine. So the bluer blue makes a little bit more sense.
Yeah.
Plus that blue looks more like the blue in the Barbados flag.
Oh! I love this. This is awesome. Okay. It's that one. That's the one.
That's the one. That's the one. That is definitely the one.
All right. So,
and even though, like you said, you're not seeing that much of it, it's a little nod, I think, toward those things.
Right. And, you know, you always want to balance, right, the actual piece with what we're tying into it. So I think it's a really nice balance, because it's not like, what, you know, I've framed pieces for people before where they're framing, I don't know, say something to do with their kids' college, but the college colors are atrocious.
Like, ow, it's hurting my eyes.
And it's like, oh, okay, how can we make this work with this, you know? And so I think
I understand.
Really nice balance.
Right.
But I think this is a really nice balance, I guess, is where I was going with all of that.
Yes, I completely agree. I think it's perfect.
I want to start showing you some of the frames. I had picked out some gray frames, some black frames, and some frames with a little bit of zhuzh.
Good, got it. Okay, I understand exactly what that is. Very technical term. I got it.
Very technical. All right, so when you had pointed to, well, let's point.
That right there. Yep, right there.
This is the frame that looks really well similar.
Okay.
It's going to look dark in here. Okay, but you can see the color?
Yeah, it's a brown. You can definitely see that it's brown.
Okay.
Oh yeah, for sure. You know what I'm getting? I can see across the top of it. I can see it crystal clear.
Okay. This was the first frame that I picked off the wall for this, because I just thought it was great with it.
I think it's great.
I also picked out this frame. So this has a little bit of like a weathered silver. Knowing that your grandma was from Barbados, I was picturing in my head, like, oh, I should keep it there so you can see it. That like weathered by sea salt kind of feel. Yeah, that's what I was thinking in my head. And so I thought
I like that one better. Cool. Oh, I like that one better. Oh yeah.
And it's a little bit schmance, but not. Do you know that tiny little bit of like rusticy silver, antique silver.
But I love that though. It does give it gives it that sea salt, like you said, kind of weathered effect. I like that a lot.
Okay.
Oh, this is so exciting. My mom was here just before we started, and she's like, oh, I want to stick around and watch. I was like, no, you'll be a crying mess. Just go. Oh, this looks so beautiful.
And then the other ones that I picked out. So do you want to see anything else as far as like in this family? Do you want like,
sure, just for fun. Yeah. I mean, it may look.
This frame right here is about an inch to an inch and an eighth wide. So it's not big of a frame. It's actually smaller than this one.
Okay.
And then I picked out a gray frame. So let's just I want to show you other things. Just to make
just to give me different options, right?
Well, and just to make sure, like, you know, sometimes even though it happens more often than you would expect that the first frame generally is the frame that, like, there's something, you know, that's the one. But I like to make sure that we see a little bit different varieties, so you know, okay, I definitely know I love that frame, rather than,
because what you think you want may not be what you love.
Right, exactly.
Right.
Right, so this is a gray frame, and it's a really just a stain. It's a gray stain on cherry wood.
Okay.
And that to me was just really pretty.
I like it is very pretty because the stain, I don't know whether it's the grain or just the way it was stained, but it has a slanted effect.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that is the grain. So we've got the gray one.
Okay.
I mean, to me, it's not as dynamic as the darker browns. They really kind of pop. You know, people are always looking for that pop when they're framing things.
Right.
And
is this another gray frame?
This is the same gray frame. So
the same. Okay.
Yeah, I just want to let you know, like, it's not as, on camera, it's not as exciting. So I guess that.
Yeah.
Then I've got this black one, which.
Okay.
See those ridges?
Yes.
That's a really traditional document frame. Looks really black on the screen.
Yeah.
So
the other one looked more, the one that we went with that looked more weathered. Yeah. Looks more homey. It doesn't look, that black one looks more like an office. This looks homier.
Okay, so I'm gonna not show you the other two that I had pulled out. One was black with the dental, the gold beading.
Okay.
Beading, I should say. And then this was black, and it was just a traditional, okay.
Yeah.
And then this was the last one that I thought. So it's black and brown wash over.
Oh.
See that texture?
Yeah.
It's really pretty. Let me see if I can show it to you on camera here.
And it's sort of recessed a little bit, like concave. Is that the word?
So I'll show you the profile here.
Oh, yeah.
And so
that's a contender.
Again, I think it looks too dark on this camera, but you can get an idea. Let's see.
Yeah. That's beautiful, but my eye is still going back to the first.
Okay. Put that back.
Oh, that is yelling at me.
Wait, that one, right? Not okay, yeah.
Because just to clarify, that inner edge, there's a slightly inner edge toward the inner portion of the frame. That looks gold on camera, but I don't think it is. Or is it?
It's called antique silver. And what they do to silver to antique it is they add gold to it. So the gold warms up. So it has this mixed two-tone look to it. Yeah. But it's not bright gold.
It's not a bright gold, right. Right.
And let's see, can I get the camera? See how you can see that there's like
a bezel? Is it a bezel?
Yeah, and it's like, but it also, I have never had to use vocabulary words to describe this because the people are looking at it right where I am. Do you know what I mean? So I'm like, how do I? But you can see that it's weathered, like the silver itself.
Oh, it's so beautiful.
It does look really good, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. Yes. Too enthusiastic. Some thumbs up.
Now, before we say this is the one, are you in love with this? Like, do you think don't bother, or is there like anything in your mind?
I'm kind of in love with it.
It'll be this.
It'll be that.
And then, so.
That will be that. Oh!
It's also hard to move my hands back and forth.
Oh, believe me, I've recorded with this vantage point, and it's very difficult. You want to move in the opposite direction all the time?
Yes. But I think
I totally get it.
That's a pretty good representation right there.
That's beautiful. Because I can really see the blue.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
Okay, so I'm going to let you know what's happening on the inside. So this is everything you'll see.
Okay.
The letter will be hinged, very small little tiny pieces of acid-free glue and tape that I use. But it's reversible. And then because this is so important to you and it's so sentimental, I'm going to jump up and not just use, so the glass that I offer to everyone, let me start there.
Okay.
My base glass is conservation standard, which means it does help protect it from UV damage.
Okay.
But then there's the step up from that, which is the museum glass, which also protects it, but it has, it's color true, meaning that tint that glass has to it has been removed.
Okay.
And it's just, and it's anti-glare. And I just think something like this, it's nice and small, but you want to protect and you want to.
I think the and I think the anti-glare, everything you just described, I think would be beautiful for that.
I do too. I really do. It'll be easy to read.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't have any professionally framed pieces.
Okay.
So just as a piece in my home, I think it would be beautiful, you know, to have it look like, I think it would be great.
Yay.
Yay. Yes.
So then off camera, I will discuss with you, or I will send you an email if you'd like that. I'll send you an email with the price quote so we can talk about price, make sure you're okay with that. And then also, even though you can see now, I mean, it does look pretty good, but I still want to send you.
Send a picture.
Yeah, I want to send you a picture. I'll take it with my good camera. So it's, and that way it's color true.
Got it. And
then that way, because if there is anything that you're like, oh no, we can change that.
No, that's perfect. That is a perfect plan. This is great.
Yeah.
So I mean, just going forward, I mean, for any customers interested in doing this long distance, this is brilliant. I mean, you get to see the process as it's happening. Whether the colors are true or not, it's just talking through the process as opposed to doing it via an email.
Yeah. I mean, I would imagine if people are having me do it, I've been doing this for so long that I'm not going to pick a mat that's like wrong.
Right. Like neon highlighter green kind of.
Right. Yeah. You know, I feel like if it's something, you know, if someone needs to match fabric in a room like perfect, this might not be the way to go.
I agree. Right.
But for framing something that needs to stand on its own like this, or, you know, a piece of art, I think this is an easy alternative to going someplace that you don't trust.
Exactly. This is brilliant. Oh, this was amazing.
Yeah, I'm so glad.
Absolutely. And I already know where it's going to go. So to see it there, oh, I can't wait. I can't wait. I really can't wait.
Well, I'm glad we did it. I think it's going to look good, and I'll be in touch.
This was so amazing.
Yay.
Hey, thank you so much for doing this. This was wonderful.
Welcome. All right, everybody. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye, everyone. Thank you so much.
So there you have it. Denise and I picked out the framing for her letter, and so I just want to show you the end result. So here we are. Let's see. I hope the lighting might be a little bit washed out, so I hope it's not. This is the problem with video. I'm not a professional videographer, photographer, anything like that. So I do try my best to display and to show everything. Let me show you this. Yeah, you know what? I think the light's pretty good. It's hard for me to know what you're going to see at home because the images and the colors vary from screen to screen. So that is an obstacle that I still have to figure out how to conquer, but I'd say this looks pretty good. I cannot wait for Denise to have this. On the back here was the back of the letter. Her grandmother had written a little note to her sister as well. So I took the letter to a printer and had copies made of the back for her, and then copies for her mom and her sister. And then on the back here is my label. So in the future, people will know where it was framed. And this is information about the glass. I used museum glass on this, so there's not much of a reflection. You know, you can see a reflection, right? I see a reflection there. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I see it. But that's because it's a weird angle. When you look at it dead on, which is right there, I think that's dead on for you guys, you don't really see a reflection. So museum glass is amazing. Very amazing. Anyway, So that was it. Like I said in the beginning of the video, if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. Share it with your friends. If you find it interesting, if anyone you know is looking for a picture framer or has questions about picture framing, send them on over to my YouTube channel. And subscribe if you like it. I will see you in the next video. Bye.